peaceful governorate of Luxor, and we're very pleased right now to have with us Dr. Mostafa Waziri, the director of the West Bank Monuments. Thank you very much, Doctor, for being with us.
Yes.
Let's talk about this very important move, let's say. How does it affect Luxor in general? Although it has been a very important touristic destination prior to becoming a governorate, but still it definitely added a lot.
That's right. First of all, I'd love to say that in Luxor here we have 1/3 of the monuments all over the world. And it's well-known city, and it's now became well-known governorate. So we have a lot. Even the tourists nowadays, you can see a lot of them, they are coming back. We call them repeaters. One time is not enough. So we can see that they say that this time we're gonna visit Karnak, Luxor, Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens, Hatshepsut. The next time, because nowadays, according to SCCA excavation, we have something new every season. So it's well known all over the world. So we can imagine that you have heard about excavation in the Valley of the Kings. Oh, wow, we are coming back. Excavation in Dira Abu Naga. We have a lot of cemeteries in the west bank of the Nile. And every year there's something new to discover. So it forces, let's say it like this, it forces most of the tourists to come back to visit the sites. They say, oh, well, last year we were on Luxor and there's something new. Oh no, we have to come back again to Luxor to visit this one. For example, I met a group of English people a couple of days ago, and they were here almost for 7 times. And I said, 7 times? I think that you did cover almost every single site in Luxor. They said, yes, but you have something new, which is Carter House, which turned to be like a museum.
Again as a museum.
It was November 4th, and this date because, you know, the tomb of the boy king Tutankhamun was discovered in November 4th, 1922. So we took the chance. Dr. Zahi Hawass, in fact, he did force us to work very hard. Finally, we did achieve this big miracle by opening this museum for Carter.
Well, just as we were saying at the very beginning, that every time we come to Luxor, we found something new, and if you want to come again to explore and to find out more about it. Well, again, maybe the Hatshepsut temple still is one of the most famous ones, and you know, it has a lot of memories with all of us, especially there are a lot of events that took place over there. So could you tell us just first something about Hatshepsut temple, because it has its own significance on you?
Let's start about this lovely name, Hatshepsut.
She ruled more than any other woman, I believe, in the history.
First of all, she was not the first queen of Egypt. She was the queen number 5 of Egypt. Hatshepsut, the meaning of her name, look at the meaning of her name. Hatshepsut, it's a hieroglyphic word. Hatshepsut, it means the first respectable lady. Hatshepsut, she had no right to be the queen of Egypt. Not because she was a lady, no, but the one who had the right to be the king of Egypt, he was her nephew, Thutmose III. But at that time, he was a little boy.
He was 9 years old, I think, or something
yeah,
like
right.
this.
But Hatshepsut, she said, am I gonna leave the entire empire for this little boy? Then she had to invent such a fake story. What did she say? She said on one night, the main god of Luxor, the god Amen-Ra, the king of the gods, he got the features of my father, Thutmose I, and he married my mother for one night. That's why I became the divine daughter, the daughter of the god Amen-Ra. By creating this fake story, she had the right, she had the power to be the queen of Egypt. She was very, very a strong lady.
But she was always dressed in, you know, as a warrior, as a male.
Yes, we can see most of her statues in Cairo Museum or Egyptian Museum in Cairo, with the false beard, like a man, dressing like a man, walking like a man. It doesn't mean that she was what I want to say, that she doesn't like it to be a woman. No, no, no. We can see her also in dresses like a woman, makeup also like a woman. Yeah, she didn't forget herself that she's a lady. Hatshepsut temple. It was something. It's unique. If we're gonna look around all the temples here in Luxor, we can imagine that most of the temples in Luxor constructed completely of sandstone. The point is, why sandstone? Because the nearest quarry is located 110 kilometers to the south of Luxor. So the Egyptians in ancient time, they found that it's easy for them to bring their own blocks from Silsila mountain or Silsila quarry to bring their own blocks to construct their own temples. Except the temple of the Queen Hatshepsut is limestone because it's one piece out of the mountain itself. I call it personally the unlucky temple. Why is that?
Why?
After, let's say, 21 years of her ruling the country as the queen or as the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Thutmose III, after her death, he decided to make his own revenge. So he came here with his workers, his attendants, whoever, holding their own hammers, and they start defacing the entire temple, especially the scenes which connected to the Queen Hatshepsut. It's not only this damage done by Thutmose III, also the Hieratic king Akhenaton. So we can imagine that in the entire temple we can see the lovely scenes, Hatshepsut and different gods and goddesses. You can imagine that Thutmose III, he destroyed or defaced the scenes of his aunt Hatshepsut. How about the rest of the scenes of the gods and the goddesses? It was almost intact till the time of the Hieratic king Akhenaton, who changed the religion, he changed the cult. He said, there is no God in front of Allah, only one God. His name is Aton. So what did he do? Again, his priest, his high priest, his followers, his attendants, his guys, they start defacing the scenes of the gods and the goddesses. So both of the scenes, either the queen or the god and goddesses, were completely defaced. The story started in 1960 that we did ask the Polish people from Poland, the Polish mission, to come and to start reconstructing the temple of the Queen Hatshepsut. In fact, it's one of its kind. It's unique style. But the Senenmut, the architects who constructed the temple of the Queen Hatshepsut, he was not that creative guy, because he just made a copy of the ex-temple of Muntuhat ibn Bhibit Ibra. It's a difficult name, I know, but he was the founder of the dynasty number 11, the founder of the Middle Kingdom. The difference of the time between this temple and Hatshepsut, almost 500 years. It's nearby Hatshepsut temple. He just started looking at this one and he made a
replica of it. Okay, apart from, because we know definitely that the West Bank contains an amazing wealth of monuments and great things other than the temple of Hatshepsut per se to talk about. So let's go briefly over the most important things and the things that mainly attract the tourists nowadays.
Valley of the Kings.
The Valley of the Kings.
Valley of the Kings, in fact, we have till now 63 tombs. 26 royal tombs and the rest non-royals. 26 royal tombs, 24 kings and 2 queens. In the Valley of the Kings, 2 queens.